Start off with a free
Thank
burger.
you for tuning in for another episode of Meet the Shoe. I'm Sade.
I'm Nina.
How y'all guys doing? Happy Wednesday. 4th of July is tomorrow.
Hey.
Guys doing? What-
So, the first story was kick it off. Well, we wanted to kick it off with Biden, but we'll get into that because
Okay.
that information was just released an hour ago. Um,
Mhm.
but I wanted to touch on what should I say about this person? Big time attorney here in the Minnesota area. Big time attorney Joseph Freeberg.
Okay.
He was my attorney that fought for my life on my federal case. He was top five in the state of Minnesota. He switched
Okay.
from federal cases into turned around and start getting people off on DWIs. He made it to where he was one of the first attorneys to fight for people not to get their license taken away, to get
Oh,
the lock on the car, the
that
blow.
was him. Okay,
That
the interlock.
he's
Okay.
the attorney that did that, right? And
Okay.
he fought for that. When he died, that's what he was working on. He was
Mhm.
still working on cases like that. He's been doing that now for the past 10, 15 years, but he passed away last week. So I just want to give it up to him that he was very good. He fought for me. I think the reason why I got 10 years instead of 20 was because of the way he described my case when he fought. I went to trial and I lost.
Mhm.
But him describing my situation
Right.
um, gave the judge a little insight about me. And that was probably more the reason why he gave me the lower end of my
Sentence.
sentence versus the higher end. I was
Okay.
120 to 235 months. He gave me 120. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So
yes.
okay, he was a great defense attorney.
Yep.
How old is he?
He was 87 years old and
Oh wow.
he battled with cancer.
Okay.
He died from cancer last week. It doesn't say what day, but
Mhm.
he's took part in more than 300 trials throughout his career. He began his
300.
case in 1978, in which I actually was turned on to him. My auntie brought a case to him. It was a pimping case back then,
Oh really?
and
Oh
he
my
won the
God.
case. And he won the
What?
case. So him and my aunt was cool. It's always about relationships and network.
Yeah.
My aunt was cool.
Okay.
He took my case for 15 grand, and that actually was cheap even back
Yeah.
then in 1997, right?
Mhm.
That was cheap for him because he was easy at 30 grand, 50 grand back then. So I don't
Ooh,
know what he would have been at this time, but
yeah.
he was heard around the Twin City area on the radio throughout all of the radio stations about
Okay.
fighting for DWIs to get, don't take a person's life away by taking their
License.
license. Give them another chance. He was the one that did that. So he
But
switched over.
as a person of someone in the family with DWI, right?
Uh-huh.
It is very important to have your license. Because your license back, because it's like you're driving around, sneaking around, not you having your license, and it's like you can get more in even more trouble without having your license. So
Right.
why not? I'm so glad that he fought for that, where you get the reinstated by reinstating your license and
Yeah.
go and grab the interlock. So while you're going through trial or
Interlock. That was
whatever,
his commercial.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could go back and forth to work. You could go back and forth to school without your license being taken. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
because
that was perfect.
that was his argument was that how is a person going to pay their fines and fees if they're stuck at home and
Right.
they can't drive, and they will be even more that will be more of a penalty, which it doesn't serve anyone the purpose, right?
That's
So that's what the blowing into the whatever
interlock.
device that would
Hmm.
make it to where they could drive, and you could
Hmm.
just drive on. But it said prior to his death, Freeberg was the only practicing criminal law to be inducted into Minnesota's Lawyers Hall of Fame.
Oh,
He was
wow.
also previously recognized as one of the most 100 most influential attorneys in Minnesota history.
Amen.
So he it says he passed away on June 18th.
Okay.
Yeah, on June 18th. So yeah, he was a very very kind person. Told me he was a straight shooter. He told me, he said, look, you're not gonna win this case.
Right.
But what I'm gonna go in and what I'm gonna do for you is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna explain your character, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
explain your circumstances that a lot of you young girls, get caught up in situations and with guys, and you don't understand, or what you really get yourself into, and you
Right.
don't have to do the police job and work for the police, and I'll just explain what happened. And so
Mm-hmm.
the way he explained what happened, everybody was like, and it took them 3 days. So
Oh,
he had to have done a good job, because if
yeah.
it was if he didn't wasn't in if he wasn't influential,
You
they
would
would
have
have
some
found me
implemented.
guilty
Mm-hmm.
within the hour.
Yep.
But we went through trial, a week to go through trial. They went back on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, by Wednesday, noon. They came back. They said, you were found
Have the verdict.
guilty. And I had to go into custody. They wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
let me out. They wouldn't even let me out um, prior to sentencing.
Mm.
So thank you, Joseph Freeberg, for all that you've done for me and my family, and making it life sentence. Me and my kids definitely
Yes.
appreciate
Yes.
it. And that goes into our next story with the situation with Trump. Right,
Mm-hmm.
we'll start with Trump, because Trump yesterday, um, the Supreme Court, from how they explained it, is
Mm-hmm.
that they stated that he's able to do anything that he wants to do. He can't be.
Yes.
He has immunity. So even though he was convicted, he will not do any time
Mm-mm.
for the charges, and anything that he wants to do, he can do.
Because
So
he's using his presidential immunity law to in his defense. Basically, he can just do whatever he want to do, like you said, and that's scary.
yeah, because under the way that the sixth Supreme Court justice gave this immunity, is stating that anything that he wants to do against the American people, and whatever he allows in, and whatever he says, is going to go.
Hmm.
So, say as a Republican that you disagree with some of his beliefs, but overall you want to vote for him. It could be that small percentage that you don't agree with, that he might do, that he might let past you. And what can you
Hmm.
do? You allow him in to be the president, and he doesn't care. He they already said he can do whatever he wants to do.
If he want to start a war just because he can, he don't have to have
Exactly.
a
And
reason.
he can handpick, from how they're saying it, he can handpick any race,
Hmm.
any age,
Hmm.
any gender that he wants to
Yeah.
fight the war at any time. Your
Yeah.
name can just be handpicked out of a hat.
Yeah.
You can just be handpicked out of whatever, to go fight or to do anything that he chooses for you to do,
And
just because of his immunity.
what's scary is if he does not like a certain person that's in Congress or any higher stature with him. If he does not like that person, he can send out the dogs and say, I think they're a spy. Let's execute him. He's not doing this, and he's.
Yeah, so they can drone, that the drone, that's what they were talking about. So like you said, they don't like, say he doesn't like me, he can drone over my house. Boop,
And drop a
you're
bomb.
gone. Yeah, you're gone.
Hmm.
So a lot of people don't understand what's going on.
Mm-mm.
And even if you do understand what's going on, there's really nothing that you can do because
Because you
they're
done expected him.
they're stating that by him illegally using those votes, by stealing those votes and still not getting elected, he's upset still about that.
Oh, he is.
And so if he becomes president, then he can go back and get, those people that made sure he didn't become president. So
Oh,
it's like,
or even the person that brought charges against him. He can go hunt them and mess with them.
and that brings me back
Mm,
to that brings
mm,
me back
mm,
to
mm, mm.
why would we vote? Why should we vote?
Or
Why
what
are we voting?
we should vote so he won't get into office.
But he has already the pull to rig it.
Not really, unless he's elected. Now, if he's elected, he's gonna really have to pull.
Here's my thing.
He's gonna
He
be a communist like China. He wants us to be a communist country like China.
I mean, yeah. Listen to what
So yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled that the
this is
president
what
is immune from
Elise
criminal
Neal,
prosecution.
she
So I'm
describes
going
it.
to say something right now that may sound extreme to you, but this is not an exaggeration. Please listen to me very carefully. This decision is a blueprint for dictatorship. This decision lays the groundwork for a president to do whatever they want, whenever they want,
said.
to whomever they want.
Right.
And the only thing standing in the way of that happening is you. Your voice, your vote. Okay, let me explain.
Maybe.
So, according to the Supreme Court, the conservative court that was made possible by Trump's first term in office, according to that court, the president of the United States is now immune from criminal prosecution for actions he takes as a president while in office. So what does that mean? Well, as my sister from the Bronx, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, explained, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said that that decision means that Trump could order the military to kill a political opponent with zero consequences. So this is how democracies in other countries have failed in recent years. It's not by wars, it's not by coups, it's through elected governments using methods to chip. So
okay, so that's the thing.
He could be the president forever because he's doing whatever he have to do if he becomes a president. That will be his way to be president. It won't be just a 4-year election anymore. He will stop that.
How old is Trump?
Well, 70 something, late 70s.
Okay. And so do you know the oldest president the longest a president has lived?
No.
Because it's about time. I mean, Biden doesn't
Both
even
of them
mentally none of these presidents are these old presidents are mentally even strong enough to run a country. Look what stress does to us on a daily.
Yeah. Most definitely.
And we are half their age, right?
Okay.
Okay. We're half their age, right? And so just realistically, right? We're half their age. And we are to the past of we don't even want to holler, scream, yell, stress.
Exactly.
Look at the daily people. They're losing their mind off of killing themselves or killing someone else because they can't handle stress.
No.
So for these presidents to keep fighting for these seats, the power trip is beyond out of control.
It's a whole different beast. It's a whole different beast. Especially with the debate. I'm just looking at them like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, I didn't understand nothing that neither one said. Neither one said anything that mattered.
Right.
Neither one.
And as far as everyone was saying he's supposed to step down. He's going to step down, and his they let out a press. Karine Jean Pierre,
Yep.
she denied the fact. She denied that New
Yeah,
York
she's
Times.
denying it now.
She said, "No, we did not." And New York Times shouldn't even publish that because nobody never said that he's going to step down.
She says
So
it's absolutely false.
absolutely false. Yep.
Jean Prairie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so um, I don't know if
But he's not stepping
why would come out why would anybody say that?
because a lot of the Democrats may have want him to step down because he did not look healthy in at the debate. He did not look like he was like in that conversation, basically.
It says he's clear eyed and he's staying in the race, but I don't know if he has the strength to.
Yeah, so we will really know when he has this interview with Mr. Stephanopoulos on is it Friday? Friday evening or morning? He's doing it
Friday the 5th?
this week. Yeah, he's doing a news, CNN. He's going to talk to the one of the anchors, and they're going to ask him a bunch of series of questions and see how he stands at this live interview. So once we see he's able to correspond and talk with this man and answer the questions that he asked and not go around a mulberry bush, we can say he's in his sane mind. Or he's not in the same mind. And if he's not in his right mind at this interview, I think he has no choice but to step back and step down.
So it says that it says screenwriter Emmy award winning Damon Lindelof in an open letter Wednesday urges Biden to end his re-election bid and calls on donors to stop funding his campaign. Ain't that something?
Ooh, that's deep.
Ooh, that and then somebody said, "I know what my eyes and ears and my heart tells me." Lindlof. I've been asleep at the wheel, and it's time to wake the f up. I don't know. I mean,
Woo. Everybody has something to say. Everyone, and some people are keeping
they're
quiet.
getting on him about the Ukraine and the Russia. They're having these issues with him sending that money. I
You
have an
see
issue with that myself.
too much money overseas, and you got your
All
own
these troubles and
people.
problems over here, and there's rent over here is just ridiculous.
They're suffering.
That's my biggest problem. I'm not gonna say only. Let me correct that
One
because
of the biggest, yeah.
also I want to speak on last week. We had a lot of critics in our comments that stated that we seemed like we're Trumpers. A lot of people in our comments last week were stating that
What?
we were Trumpers. We're not
No,
Trumpers. We're confused. I said that. We're kind of like we don't know. We're
you're on
looking
the
for the
fence. You're
best
not.
president for the people. It's
Hmm.
not even about this game of this blue or red anymore.
No,
It's
it's not.
about who is the best for us. And at this present moment, neither one is showing up.
No, they're not.
Neither one is showing up. So, I mean, honestly, I don't know what to do. I'm still worried about being convinced. When
I know I'm not voting for Trump.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for.
I already know I'm not voting for Trump. I'm sorry.
I mean, the things that he's done in this past right here, I mean, some of the things is cool, and more of them, more than not, aren't.
Right. I'm gonna
But
keep
I
my black
mean,
job.
the stuff that Biden is doing too is not cool. And he has not done nothing that he said he was going to do. My thing with Trump is, and I mean, I'm biased on this situation. He said he was going to release the federal prisoners. That's a personal thing for me, and that's
Hmm.
what he did. I know I saw that and witnessed that and was a
Part of that.
benefit of that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
my
We saw
life.
that firsthand. Yes.
Right. So, um, you know. I'm very appreciative of, you know, everybody being released that I love and care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, I don't know. I guess we will see soon.
Yeah,
Especially what is it? July 11th is the day of the full announcement. Even though the Supreme Court already said it yesterday, he can't be. He's not going to jail.
he's not.
So what we on July 11th? We just gonna be sitting there listening to what he has to say.
Well, July
No,
11th,
it's
he's not
amazing.
doing it. They postponed July 11th sentencing, so it's postponed to September anyway. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
you won't you
And
won't
that's
find
just to get
out.
closer. That's just to get closer to the election day.
Right,
I mean,
right.
he knows what he's doing. He
Mm-hmm.
can get that pushed off for 2 years from now. I've seen people do that, and
Mm-hmm.
we just regular
But,
people.
but
We ain't even in prison.
the whole thing is it's called their privilege. They can do whatever they want with the court of law. If it was a regular Joe Blow like us, black and brown folk,
Right.
sentencing would have been 6 weeks, and
Yep.
you gonna be there. Ain't no postponing. Ain't no you getting 2 more weeks added. No, none of that. 6 weeks to date, and you'd be lucky to have that because if you can found guilty for a certain charge, they locking you up right then and there because they think you're a flight risk.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's how can you think something?
I never. You heard what I said. Joseph Freeberg, my attorney that passed away last week from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't even. I had a brand new baby. I had a brand spank new baby. When I caught my case, my baby was 18 hours old. 18
Mm,
hours, not days. 18 hours, excuse me. 18 hours of being released from the hospital. 4 days old.
right.
4 days old. 18 hours out the hospital. I
Mm-hmm.
caught my case. hmm When I went, when I was found guilty, she was 5 months.
Mm,
Brand new baby.
mm-hmm.
And they said, no, baby, you going to go sit in that county jail.
That's sad.
And you going to go sit and do that time. But what the um, judge did do is said, until sentencing,
Okay.
we will sit you down at the halfway house
Okay.
where you could wear your regular clothes, where your
Mm-hmm.
kids could come see you there. We'll sit you here in Minnesota for a year because they knew they had to ship me to Texas.
Right.
And just the whole dramatics of mentally of what I
Mm-hmm.
went through.
Yeah.
And in my first time being locked up in the Fed,
Mm-hmm.
the Con Air is real.
And the con, how's the Con Air? Is it a closed in plane or is it one of them big old military
It's a
planes?
little. It depends on the number of people that they're transporting from the Minnesota jails to Oklahoma City.
Okay.
When I went, the plane was a nice size, right? It was cold,
Mm.
and
Hole in the
your
plane.
yeah, and your handcuffed black box. It's called black box, and you're handcuffed, and you gotta walk past all these men to go to the back. They put the women on the back. You
Mm.
walking past all these men, they can see your butt. Yeah. And to sit, because women more than likely usually has to use the bathroom a lot for the 2 hours that you on the plane to
Right.
get to Oklahoma.
So the bathroom was open.
No, it's in the back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whew.
yeah. And so they say, okay, well, the woman gonna have to pee. They always gotta pee, so we put the women in the
In the
back,
back.
which
Yeah.
that makes sense,
Makes
right?
sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the men, if the case they try to pull anything, they in the front.
Right.
And then when you get off of it, sometimes you have to get on the bus, and you sometimes be on the bus with the men, sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, thank God that's over. And
Okay.
yeah, that was an
That's
experience within
traumatic.
itself. Yeah,
That's traumatic.
yeah. I
Mm.
seen also a futuristic prison setup,
A
right?
plane.
That's going around on Instagram, and it talks about how a person would only be locked up for like maybe a week, but if it f's up your mind, it
Mm.
shows you it messes up your mind to the point where it shows you in a victim state. whatever you did to the victim, it traumatized you victim wise. Now I don't know who my victim would be because I had a drug case, right? So it was
Right.
like
It'll be a bunch of people.
society.
It'll be a bunch of people. Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be society. So I don't know if it
Girl,
would be
so your victimization, our victimization would be us like we're getting high.
okay. I guess that makes sense, right?
So we're getting high and feeling the same feeling they feel. That's scary.
Yeah.
And
So
be
that's what they're saying that
they want us to be geeking and tweaking.
right. Yeah.
Girl, no, they better
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, they want to flip it. That's their thing. And you
No.
will have shorter sentences.
Mm-mm.
And to see, they're trying to make it to where you won't have a long term of being you physically locked up,
But mentally, you'll be
but you're
locked up.
mentally being locked up. Yeah,
They did see. That's what I'm saying. You're going back to slavery time,
exactly.
basically, without the beating.
Yeah, definitely. That's all they doing.
And they'll be locking up more black people, just like they've been doing now. Mass incarceration.
Mass incarceration. But on a lighter note, lastly, Maryland
Oh, Mary.
had turned over. The governor turned over 175,000 marijuana cannabis convictions,
Yes. Amen.
and they said they will continue to do so.
Okay.
And I guess they'll get their rights restored and things,
Hmm.
and we haven't seen anything to where since, even though it's just been 24 hours, that Trump has immunity and he's a felon, right?
Right.
What felons like Elise Neal was saying that if there shouldn't be or was that Carrie? That was Carrie, not Elise Neal. Excuse me,
Right.
Carrie. Carrie says that the box should be taken off of the applications
The
of
felony box.
everything. Are
Of
you a felon?
everything. Yep.
Yeah, being as though he was convicted of one,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it should just be taken away indefinitely.
And you shouldn't
So
even
that
be.
way, nobody at a rental space or no job can deny you ever,
Yep. Or school.
or school. So
Yeah. It should be
I don't
getting
know.
rid of.
I
It
think
should be.
that would be ultimately a good thing. Everybody should be
That would be
treated
a
as
good
an
thing.
equal, right?
Yeah. And it should be illegal to even search your name and see if you have a felony
Yeah,
or disqualify you because of that. Yeah.
because of it, right?
Definitely.
And
Mhm.
more or less, it should be a mental health check.
Yeah.
It should be a mental health check because these people are loose cannons daily, just
Most
flipping
definitely.
out for the most minorest things. They're flipping out,
Mm-hmm.
and uh not just in the political state, right? Just on a daily basis. You go into Starbucks, Caribou, whatever, somebody's in there tripping. You get
Oh
scared
yeah.
going to the store.
Oh, going to the movies, girl. These people acting a fool.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to point out, as far as judging, the judge in the case of Young Thug, the YSL, the whole trial has been put on hold indefinitely.
I know. So what y'all gonna keep these people locked up? Right? No, they should let them go. Let everybody go from YSL, especially you talking about indefinitely. So
Yeah,
the judge is excused himself off the case.
it says Atlanta judge has put rapper Young Thug's trial on racketeering charges on hold indefinitely after his lawyer asked the judge to rescue himself over misconduct.
Mm, mm.
And the lawyer said Fulton County Superior Court Judge R.L. Glanville held an improper meeting on June 10th
Yes, he did.
when
Without.
he met privately with prosecutors and a
Yeah.
key witness.
Mm-hmm.
Defense attorney have alleged that Judge Glanville sought to pressure the witnesses into testifying, and they pressured him to rescue himself, motions which
Mm-hmm.
the judge had denied. Oh,
Which you
you
can't do.
lied.
Yes. So that's why they making him recuse himself off the stand. So he has to go. this whole case need to be thrown out, mistrial, whatever you got, that hung jury, mistrial, whatever, because it's going on too long. Let them people out of jail because y'all just fabricating and making up all kind of stuff and adding and dividing and subtracting all kind of stuff and just it's just too much.
So Thugger is only 32.
Yeah, he's young.
He is young.
Mm-hmm.
It says Mr. Williams, 32, is also charged with gang, drug, and gun crimes, and is standing trial with 5 others indicted with him.
Mm, mm, mm.
27 associates.
Mm, mm, mm.
Mr. Steele serves 20 days, 20 weekend days in jail, but Judge Supreme Court stayed the decision as Mr. Steele appealed.
Mm.
Yep, I don't have anything to do with that.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Mm, mm, mm. I'm
I don't
curious
know.
to see
I
what's the
I,
next
I, I
steps.
wish and hope that Thugger makes it out of jail. I hope
Yes.
that that he doesn't have to sit in there. He's done his time. It's been 2 years
Yes,
now, two
but
or
yes,
3 years.
yeah, it's been a while. Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as what we're looking at, he'll never stand a real trial. They might as
Not
well
a
let it
fair,
go.
not a fair trial either.
Not a fair trial. Might as well
No.
let it go.
You see,
Let
it's
him
already
live.
you tainting all the witnesses.
Yeah, leave him
Y'all
alone.
don't let it go. Y'all done. Say time served. You got how much you want to get out of them. Don't put some more nails in his coffin.
Well, thanks y'all for tuning in to another episode of Meet the Shoe. Catch up with us on Friday as we give you 5 minutes
Yes.
of our take on systems, politics, and
Hey,
entertainment. Thank you.
and support our sponsors, guys. Thank you.